Ever looked in the mirror and thought, I look fine, but something's missing? I used to feel that way too, until I discovered there are actually 7 levels of elegance, and most women never make it past level 3. In this video, I'll show you what each level looks like and how to tell where you stand, but wait until you hear what happens at level 7. It completely changes how you see elegance. The first level, and one we've all been through. The trend follower is that woman who's always scrolling fashion sites late at night, adding the latest viral pieces to her cart because everyone else is wearing them. She's seen that sparkly fringe jacket on Instagram and thinks, maybe I can pull that off. But deep down, she knows it'll hang in her closet after one wear. It's the stage where fashion feels like a constant chase, and real personal style, hasn't caught up yet. This level can be fun though, I'll admit. You experiment, you play, and you definitely have stories about trends you regret, like the low-rise jeans era we all wish we could erase from memory. But the downside, you start to feel like your wardrobe belongs to someone else. You're wearing what's trendy, not what's true to you. And if you've ever bought something because it looked great on the mannequin, but ridiculous on you, then yes, you've been here. Think of Jennifer Lopez in her early 2000s phase. A new hairstyle, a different silhouette every week, constantly reinventing herself to stay fresh. She looked incredible, of course, but not exactly consistent. Trend followers tend to borrow personality through fashion instead of expressing it. It's the sartorial version of trying too hard at a dinner party everyone notices. That's the thing about elegance. It's not about trying harder, it's about needing less effort. At this level, women are more likely to buy duplicates of the same trend in every color. One week it's puff sleeves, the next it's chunky loafers, and then suddenly, she's over it all. The problem isn't her taste, it's her direction. Without a style compass, it's easy to lose yourself in the fashion noise. True elegance starts when you pause and ask, would I still love this in 3 years? And don't get me wrong, experimenting with trends isn't bad. In fact, it's part of finding your style identity. But when everything in your closet screams last season, it's time to graduate. Elegance begins when you stop trying to fit in and start trying to stand out for the right reasons. When you see your wardrobe as an extension of you, not your favorite influencer, that's when the transformation begins. So, if you've been a lifelong shopper chasing the next big thing, don't worry, we've all been there. The good news? The next level teaches us that money can buy fashion, but not elegance, and that's where things get interesting. Now, let's talk about the next phase, the label lover. She's the woman who's graduated from chasing trends to chasing status. Her closet looks like a museum of designer logos, Gucci belts, Chanel bags, Louis Vuitton monograms, you name it. Everything she wears has a label, and she proudly shows it. But here's the funny truth. Sometimes all that money can't hide that she still hasn't found her personal style. It's the look at me, I'm expensive phase. Every outfit screams luxury, but not elegance. I call this the credit card confidence stage because it's powered by purchases, not personality. She's trying to signal taste, but what she's really showing is insecurity. And it's easy to fall into this trap, especially when we've been conditioned to believe that expensive means better. Take Kim Kardashian in her early fashion years. Remember those head-to-toe designer looks? The giant logos, the tight dresses, the I just walked out of a photo shoot vibe. It looked impressive, but not necessarily elegant. There's a fine line between high-end and high maintenance, and that's the lesson at this level. True elegance whispers. It never shouts its price tag. And oh, you can always spot a label lover at brunch. She's the one who positions her handbag just right on the table for that subtle, accidental logo reveal. Don't pretend you haven't noticed, or maybe done it yourself once or twice. But what's missing here is that sense of personal voice. She's wearing luxury, but the luxury is wearing her. The label lover eventually learns something liberating. That style is about how you carry yourself, not what you carry. When you start mixing high and low, when you realize your Zara blazer looks incredible next to your Hermes scarf, That's when you begin to refine your elegance. The price tag fades, and what stands out is your taste. Because no one ever looked at Audrey Hepburn and thought, I wonder what brand that was. They thought, she's unforgettable. So, if you've been through your label lover era, congratulations, you're evolving. You've proven you appreciate quality. Now it's time to discover subtlety, taste, and restraint, the things money can't buy, but style reveals naturally. And that brings us to one of the trickiest stages of all, where women try to perfect elegance a little too much. This is where the pendulum swings the other way. After all that logo overload, she now wants structure, coordination, and control. Her shoes match her bag, her earrings match her necklace, and her manicure is precisely the same shade as her dress. It's neat, it's tidy, and it's predictable. The matchy perfectionist has traded chaos for control, but in doing so, she's lost the magic of ease. We've all known a woman like this, maybe even been her, the kind who plans outfits a week in advance and gets anxious if her lipstick clashes with her blouse. She looks put together, but she can also look dated. There's no spontaneity, no surprise. Elegance is about harmony, not duplication. And there's a big difference between the two. Think Kate Middleton in her earlier royal years. Always perfectly coordinated, from her coat to her clutch to her pumps. It was charming, yes, but a bit textbook, like elegance by numbers. As she evolved, she loosened up, started mixing textures, and embraced a softer balance. That's when she began to look genuinely modern and effortlessly graceful. The matchy perfectionist phase usually happens when women start taking fashion too seriously, as if there's a rule book to follow. She wants approval, not expression. And ironically, that overthinking kills her natural sense of style. Because elegance doesn't come from perfecting your outfit, it comes from owning it. So, if you find yourself color matching everything down to your nail polish, breathe. Elegance doesn't live in coordination, it lives in confidence. Try mixing metals, layering unexpected fabrics, or pairing structured pieces with relaxed ones. Real elegance happens when your look feels intentional but never forced. And by the way, if you want to try out pieces that strike the perfect balance between refined and relaxed, I've added links to some great options in the description box below. They're curated to help you transition from overly matchy to naturally elegant without losing your personal touch. Now, this is where the journey starts getting exciting. The style-conscious woman has graduated from trying to impress others to actually expressing herself. She's no longer obsessed with trends or labels. She's curating her wardrobe with intention. Every piece has a purpose. Every outfit feels connected to her lifestyle. It's the level where a woman finally realizes that elegance isn't bought, it's built. The style-conscious woman starts to recognize the power of fit. She knows that tailoring is a secret weapon, and that even the simplest white shirt can look stunning when it fits beautifully. She's no longer hoarding clothes that might work one day. She's editing, refining, and investing in quality pieces that actually make her feel good. And let's be honest, there's something liberating about finally letting go of clothes that make you feel like a stranger in your own closet. The clutter leaves, and suddenly, your style breathes again. This level is about taste, not extravagance. The style-conscious woman starts developing preferences that reflect her world, not the fashion world. She might prefer linen in summer, wool in winter, or choose natural tones that flatter her complexion instead of chasing Pantone's color of the year. It's thoughtful dressing, almost like meal planning for your wardrobe, minus the calories. The more she refines, the easier it becomes to get dressed in the morning. You can see this beautifully in Sandra Bullock's style. She doesn't chase every trend, but when she steps out, she looks comfortable, modern, and completely herself. There's balance, structure mixed with softness, casual with a hint of polish. Sandra's style feels relatable because it's real, not rehearsed. That's exactly where the style-conscious woman lives, in that sweet spot between everyday and elevated. At this level, she also starts thinking about fabrics and textures differently. Suddenly, synthetic shine feels cheap, and natural fibers start to look more appealing. Linen creases. That's fine. It means it's real linen. Cotton breathes, wool drapes, silk moves. She learns to appreciate that elegance is also tactile. Her wardrobe becomes a sensory experience, not just a visual one. There's also a confidence shift here. The style-conscious woman stops apologizing for re-wearing outfits. She embraces repetition as part of her signature. She's the kind of woman who says, "Yes, I wore this last week, and I'll wear it again because it's fabulous." There's freedom in that kind of self-assurance, and believe me, that quiet confidence is more elegant than any luxury label. So if you've found yourself editing your wardrobe, favoring quality over chaos, and finally understanding what works for your body, congratulations. You're moving into one of the most grounded levels of style there is. But if you're feeling ready to elevate even further, the next level takes that simplicity and turns it into something almost sacred. Let's talk about the refined minimalist. Now we're entering the zone of calm sophistication, where elegance starts to feel effortless, but not simple-minded. The refined minimalist doesn't wear a lot, but what she wears matters. Her closet may be smaller, but every piece earns its space. She's not afraid of neutrals or repetition. She embraces them. It's that, I don't need much, but what I have is beautiful energy. Women at this level understand proportion and restraint. They know that when everything is loud, nothing stands out, so they let subtlety do the talking. A cream cashmere sweater, soft grey trousers, and gold hoops might sound basic, but the fit, texture, and movement make all the difference. Their outfits are photographed beautifully because they're balanced. It's not about blending in, it's about commanding attention quietly. Think Julianne Moore or Michelle Pfeiffer, both masters of refined simplicity. They wear pieces that frame their beauty, not fight it. You'll rarely see them drowning in trends or flashy logos. Instead, they let their natural grace lead the outfit. When Julianne walks into a room in her signature monochrome tones, or Michelle steps out in tailored black, you don't see fashion, you see presence. That's the true secret of minimalism done right. At this stage, women stop chasing the idea of being noticed and start enjoying being remembered. They no longer buy impulsively, they invest intentionally. A well-cut pair of trousers means more than 3 trendy ones that lose shape after 2 washes. It's about valuing longevity in clothes, in design, in energy. Elegance becomes sustainable in every sense of the word. Now, don't get me wrong, refined minimalism isn't about living in a beige world of boredom. It's about editing the noise so that your personality shines louder. Sometimes a pop of lipstick or an interesting pair of shoes can be the punctuation in a minimalist outfit. It's about knowing when to stop. And trust me, that kind of restraint takes experience and a bit of fashion maturity. What I love most about this level is that it's peaceful. You stop competing, comparing, or overcomplicating. You find satisfaction in simplicity, and that calm confidence radiates more elegance than any sequin gown ever could. The refined minimalist doesn't need approval because she knows she's got taste. So, I'm curious, where do you see yourself right now? Do you think you're more style-conscious or refined minimalist in how you dress these days? Or maybe somewhere in between? Tell me in the comments below. I love reading where you feel you are on your own elegance journey. It's fascinating to see how our styles evolve with time, wisdom, and, let's be honest, better lighting and better tailoring. You know you've reached a new level of style maturity when people see you across the room and instantly say, "That's so her. That's the signature woman. She's mastered what works for her and doesn't chase trends. Instead, trends quietly adjust themselves to fit her." Her wardrobe isn't bursting at the seams. It's edited, intentional, and deeply personal. Think of someone like Diane Keaton, who turned menswear-inspired style into her own visual fingerprint. The hats, the tailored trousers, the crisp shirts. That's not random. That's branding through fashion, and it's incredibly powerful. The signature woman knows herself, her body, her coloring, her energy, and she dresses in alignment with that. She's the woman who buys fewer pieces, but every single one feels like an extension of her personality. She's got her go-to silhouettes and fabrics. Maybe it's all about clean lines, or maybe she loves textures and patterns, but there's always a consistent thread that ties it all together. It's the kind of wardrobe that tells a story without saying a word. And if you peek inside her closet, you'll probably find repetition, but it's intentional, the kind that says refinement, not repetition. This is also the stage where fashion becomes more emotional and less reactive. You stop dressing for validation and start dressing for connection. Connection to yourself. And isn't that what elegance really is? When you wear something that feels so you, it elevates even the simplest outfit. You could be wearing jeans and a white shirt, but if it's styled your way, maybe with your signature jewelry, that perfect lipstick shade, or a specific way you tuck your shirt, it feels complete. It's fashion with self-awareness. And let's not forget, signature style doesn't mean monotony. It just means consistency with flavor. Think of Iris Apfel. She's the maximalist queen, yet every look screams Iris. Or Carolina Herrera, whose crisp white shirts and black skirts are so iconic, they've become her personal uniform. Two completely different aesthetics, both equally signature. That's the beauty of this level. There's no one formula. Your signature might be bold jewelry, a color palette, a silhouette, or even a hairstyle. When you get to this level, fashion feels easy. But make no mistake, it took years of trial and error to get here. It's built on everything you've learned from the earlier levels. The experimenting, the label loving, the matchy-matchy coordination. You've tried it all, and now you've distilled your wardrobe down to what actually makes you feel and look your best. That's wisdom expressed through clothing. That's why when she walks into a room, she doesn't need to announce herself. Her style already did the talking. A signature woman also tends to be incredibly resourceful. She might not buy designer head to toe, but she knows how to look designer without spending like it. She knows which fabrics elevate an outfit and which ones cheapen it. She knows her tailor by name and probably has a shoe guy who can fix any heel. She's the woman you ask, "Where did you get that?" And she just smiles. Because the truth is, it's not just what she bought, it's how she wears it. And perhaps the biggest flex of all, she's consistent. You'll never see her looking wildly off-brand. Whether she's at the grocery store or attending an event, there's always a cohesive thread in her presentation. And that's how people remember her, not for being trendy, but for being distinct. The signature woman doesn't just dress well, she owns her aesthetic. Now, here's where things get really interesting, because while the signature woman has mastered her outer style, the next level takes things much deeper. You might think elegance is all about what you wear, but wait until you hear what happens at level 7. It completely changes how you see elegance. At this stage, elegance stops being something you wear. It becomes something you are. The inner elegance is the woman whose presence feels calm, assured, and quietly captivating. She's not trying to impress anyone, yet she leaves an impression everywhere she goes. Think of women like Helen Mirren or Julie Andrews. They radiate grace even in jeans and a sweater. Their elegance is emotional, not just aesthetic. It's posture, poise, tone of voice, and kindness, all woven together into something magnetic. This woman knows that true style begins long before she opens her closet. It's in how she treats others, how she carries herself, and how she manages her energy. Her clothes are an extension of her character, not a disguise for it. That's why you'll never catch her in something overly trendy or screaming for attention. She doesn't need to. Her confidence is quiet, but deeply felt, and that's what makes people turn their heads. She's proof that elegance, when cultivated from within, never fades. At this level, elegance looks less like perfection and more like authenticity. It's the woman who wears her silver hair with pride, who embraces her laugh lines because they tell stories of joy and resilience. She doesn't chase youth, she celebrates growth. That's a level of sophistication that no designer label can replicate. You could put her in a $40 blouse, and she'd still look like $1 million, because her elegance comes from self-acceptance, not self-doubt. And you know what's fascinating? Inner elegance often makes style choices simpler, not harder. These women stop overthinking outfits. They reach for what feels right. They stop wearing things to hide and start wearing things to highlight. They've refined their wardrobes the same way they've refined their priorities, by keeping only what truly matters. The result? A wardrobe and a mindset that both say, "I know who I am." Inner elegance also carries an emotional depth that's incredibly magnetic. When she speaks, people listen, not because she's loud, but because her words carry weight. She knows when to say something, and when silence says it better. That's power wrapped in grace, and it's why even in a crowd, she stands out effortlessly, not because she's dressed to impress, but because she's aligned with herself. You might even notice that her outer style becomes simpler over time, neutral palettes, fewer accessories, maybe one meaningful piece of jewelry. It's like she's decluttered everything that distracts from her essence. This doesn't mean she's boring, it means she's clear. She knows what matters and doesn't waste energy on what doesn't. That's the kind of style evolution that only time and wisdom can teach. And here's the irony, the lower levels often try to look elegant, but at this level, you don't have to try at all. You've already arrived. Elegance has moved from your closet into your character. It's in your gestures, your tone, your confidence, your kindness. You've become the woman others look up to, not because of your clothes, but because of your presence. If you enjoyed this breakdown, you'll definitely love the next video. Do you have all 10 signs of an elegant woman? I'll share the exact behaviors, little rituals, and mindset shifts that truly elegant women practice every day. It's practical, a little cheeky, and absolutely full of things you can try this week.